Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new Halacha 4 units for Thursday, 21st day of April, 20th day of Nisan. And I have to tell you a whole bunch of things that you'll need to know as we approach the last days of Pesach. First of all, on Thursday, it is important that you make an Eruv Tavshilin. Let's explain that really quickly. What that means is, technically, biblically speaking, you are allowed to cook on Friday in the permissible Yom Tov way of cooking. You would biblically be allowed to cook on Friday in preparation for, let's say, your cholent for Shabbos. However, the rabbis didn't want you doing that. One of the reasons given is because if we were to allow people to do that, they might mistakenly also assume that you could cook on Yom Tov for one of the regular days that follows Yom Tov, and that's not allowed. So therefore, the rabbis said, we're only going to let you cook on a Yom Tov leading into Shabbos if you cook in a way that uses what's called an Eruv Tavshilin. Technically, that means that you do your basic preparing for Shabbos before the Yom Tov begins. The basic preparation involves having a baked food and a cooked food, like a matzah and an egg. Okay, you prepare those on Thursday, right now, on Thursday, before the Yom Tov begins. And that's like kind of officially the beginning of your Shabbos cooking. Whatever other cooking you're going to do on Friday is just an extension of that. And now it's very clear that the rabbis have distinguished and made it that people won't mix this up. And they won't do this when Yom Tov is followed by a regular weekday. That's one of the ways of explaining Eruv Tavshilin. There's more to it, but that's kind of like a quick, basic way of explaining Eruv Tavshilin. So if you want to know how to do it, look in any siddur. There, the special bracha and paragraph is said, and yeah, just follow exactly what it says in the siddur, and you'll be fine as long as you're using a very good siddur. Okay, that's Erev Tavshilin. If you forget to make the Erev Tavshilin, you still can rely on the Erev Tavshilin made by the rabbi of the city, who usually makes it with everybody in mind, but it's best that you take care of this yourself. Okay, other things that I want you to know, and they are that candle lighting and Kiddush for these last days of Yom Tov will not have Shechayanu in them. The days of Pesach are considered more like one unit, more than we say when we come to Shmini Atzeres at the end of Sukkot, because Shmini Atzeres is a brand new Yom Tov. We don't say that for Pesach, and therefore no Shechayanu will be recited when you make Kiddush or when you light the candles. Another thing that I'd like to remind you is that on the last day of Pesach, I'm talking now for people outside of Israel, we will have 8 days of Pesach, and this Shabbos will be treated mostly like a Yom Tov. It's Shabbos, but I mean, we'll be reading the Torah as if it's Yom Tov. We won't be reading the regular Parsha. Incidentally, Israel will not be doing that. They'll be reading the next Parsha, and they'll actually be a Parsha ahead of us for a number of weeks now. But anyway, back to what I was telling you. So for us, we'll be reading Shir Hashirim at Shul on Shabbos morning on the 8th day of Pesach this Shabbos. Also, I want to remind you that on Matzah Shabbos, when Pesach ends, don't be quick to eat your chametz. You've got to give your rabbi time to take care of buying back the chametz from the non-Jew. And lastly, I want to tell you, although there's so much else to know, but in my little 5-minute allotment here, I want to just squeeze in one other thing, and that is when you go out to buy chametz after Pesach, you can't buy your chametz just anywhere. You can only buy your chametz from stores that are fully non-Jewish owned. It doesn't matter that they owned chametz over Pesach because they were non-Jews. Or, of course, you can buy your chametz from a Jewishly owned store that sold their chametz properly, so that it did not have the rule of chametz she'avar alav Pesach, chametz that was owned by a Jew through Pesach. Those are two kinds of stores that you could buy from. The middle one that I'm going to mention now is the problematic one. Those are stores owned by Jews who did not properly sell their chametz. Now you have chametz she'avar alav haPesach. That means chametz that was owned by a Jew who didn't sell it properly on Pesach. You should not be buying chametz from those stores until the chametz that they own during Pesach clears out. You'll have to speak to the rabbis of your community to find out which stores that applies to and how long you'd have to wait. Those are some of your quick basics that you'll need for Shabbos and Yom Tov that will be upon us starting on Thursday night. Have a very good Shabbos. Have a very good Yom Tov. Bye-bye.